So today I want to take a look at 3 products that I got off of AliExpress and compare them to the name brands that I bought here locally in the States and figure out if really the savings is worth it and what is the disadvantage on going with a cheaper brand versus the name brand. And today I want to take a look at these mountain bike style clipless shoes. I've got some foam grips for your handlebars, and then I have some generic SPD pedals. Altogether, these 3 items cost me less than $55 on AliExpress. And I know that just Shimano SPD pedals cost more than that on Amazon. So getting all of these for less than the price of what a set of pedals would cost is a pretty good deal. This could save you a lot of money, but is it really worth it? Let's dive in and take a look. So the first thing that I want to look at are these SPD shoes. These are probably the most interesting thing and the thing that I've been most curious about, because cycling shoes aren't cheap. I mean, you're looking at a minimum of about $75, and these ran me exactly $27.88, and they come with this kind of dual BOA strap. But also, I really like the fact that you can get these particular shoes off of AliExpress in so many different colors. I wanted to get something a little bit bright, so I picked up these white ones, and I think the white and black look really, really good. Now, just looking at these do look like pretty much high quality shoes. The soles seem to be attached really well all the way around them. There's a little bit of glue on the side over here. I have used these a few times, so they've already got a little bit of wear on them. They did come with some SPD cleats, but I need to take a closer look at these because they don't clip in well to my SPD pedals. I don't really know what the deal is with it, but they seem to be pretty loose even though they're locked in. So I'm either gonna replace these or try to figure out what the difference is on these cleats versus the Shimano cleats, or even possibly the generic cleats that came in the SPD pedals that I got in this setup here. But I really do like how this has some grip here, so if you have to get off of your mountain bike and walk around, you do have some grip. It's not like a road shoe that's going to be slick on the bottom. These are going to be good for walking on the trail if you do have to do any hike a bike anywhere. And it does have these little lugs that it comes with a little wrench where you can remove these if you want, but I decided to leave them in just because they're not hurting anything being there. Now, looking in the shoe, there is a good amount of padding. This is the first thing I noticed with these, because in another pair of shoes that I have that I'll show you here in a second, they're made by Pearl Izumi, there's not a lot of padding. It's very minimal and a very stiff shoe, where this seems to have quite a bit of padding on the sides, and then also the insole feels really squishy, which can be a good thing if you're walking around in them, and it could feel good really at first, but that's also an area of these shoes that could break down, and then the shoes could start to feel a little bit bigger, or maybe your foot could start to slip around in the shoe a little bit more. I'm gonna have to see. I've done 2 rides with them. They feel comfortable, but I do have to admit, after about an hour to an hour and a half, I was kind of getting fatigued on the bottom of my feet, even though there's more padding in these than there is in my Pearl Izumi shoes. The tongue on these is really interesting. So it's an overlap design, and it's kind of like, I'll just show you a close-up here, but the inside overlaps underneath, and it'll overlap your foot all the way over. So it really covers the top of your foot, and then this top piece overlaps on top of that. And then whenever you go to lock these down, you'll push down on them, and then you can start tightening these shoes. And I did find with this top one, you want to make sure that it gets over the tongue right there, and then you can tighten it down. And that one just tightens this single strap right here, but this bottom one tightens basically the middle of the foot and up towards the toe. And as you can see, it just tightens it down nice and tight, and whenever you're ready to release these, you just pull up on these, and then the boas are released, and you should be able to pull them to loosen them. So let's take a look at my Pearl Izumis real quick and kind of show you guys the difference. Okay, so these are my Pearl Izumis. These were about, I think, $75 to $90. I can't remember exactly, but They typically retail for about $140. I got them on sale, and they actually do use a name brand BOA. And as you can see, these use a Velcro strap at the bottom. And I kind of like that because it does get away from using a BOA as the overall tightening. It's just you're tightening part of it with a BOA and part of it with Velcro. Now, however, the outside of the Pearl Izumis, they do feel really premium. Right now they're pretty dirty because I've used these a lot over this season. And these feel pretty premium, but they also have a lot of padding feel compared to the Pearl Izumis. These are actually heavier feeling than the Sport brand. And the bottom of this sole is much more aggressive, a little bit thicker. This kind of reminds me of almost like a soccer cleat. The inside part is what's really different between these. This just feels like a much stiffer shoe than what this is. My only concern is the longevity of the inside of this squishy insole. Hopefully that holds up, but we're just gonna have to see. But for $27.88, I think it's a pretty good deal. Next up isn't really an off-brand product, but I can't find these specific ones on their website. These are ODI silicone grips. Now, I know ODI and their stuff is generally made in the US, and these only came in at $5.55, and most ODI grips run about $20 to $25. And honestly, I thought these were going to be more similar to my wolf tooth grips that I have on my Superior XC bike, but these look and feel a lot like a silicone cell phone case. So it's really weird. Let's open these up. It does say ODI on here, but I don't know that this is actual official ODI, unless if this is just really old stock. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. Well, let's open them up here. Let's take a look and see what you get inside the box. It's just the grips in the box, and these are definitely silicone. I mean, it doesn't feel like they have any foam in them at all. They're just a very, very thin grip. And these, you would definitely need either an air compressor or soapy water or maybe some rubbing alcohol to slide these on. Because as you can see, if you look at this, the actual bar insert is bulging these out. And these are gonna be very, very thin. So if you're looking for super thin, really lightweight, this might be the way to go. I'm afraid it's not gonna be very comfortable in how thin it is. So for $5.55, I would pass on these. I'd be interested in trying a few other grips to see if they're a little bit better than this, because my goal was to get something that was similar to the wolf tooth grips that I really like. These I'm not super impressed with right out of the box, so I wouldn't recommend these. Next up is something that I need a lot of. I've got a lot of bikes that I review, and I can't stand taking pedals on and off my bike. This is Raceworks Pedalworks SPD pedals. Looking over these, they say they're Racework Carbon. Now, I'm not sure what the carbon actually refers to, because the center piece right here does feel like plastic, but the SPD part, which is the most important part, looks just like a Shimano SPD pedal, and this does work with Shimano SPD cleats. You've got your tensioner on each side of the pedal. These feel really light. We'll have to weigh these, but they seem to spin just fine, and it uses a standard 6mm wrench. And then inside the box, you also get a set of cleats, and you get a couple of Allen keys, and then you even get some shims. But these only ran me $21.85. So I could literally buy 2 sets for less than the price that I can get 1 set off of Amazon of the standard Shimano SPD pedals. And I used these out on the trail today, and I couldn't tell a difference. As a rider, they felt exactly like Shimano pedals. Now, it does look like on the end here, you do have the option to remove this. So these may be completely serviceable too. So let's take a look and see what the differences are. As far as the size, the overall length appears to be the exact same. And whenever I set these up side by side, the Shimano pedal looks like it is going to clip in further out away from the bike. These are going to maybe give you a little bit lower Q factor, but on these Shimanos, all metal casing. So this whole thing is metal. And being that this is supposedly carbon, I'm not sure. To me, it just looks like plastic. It's so hard to tell the difference. I do see that it looks like it's possibly, I think that's called injection mold, where you can see the line. Where the Shimano pedal, it's all metal. It's 100% metal. These things are tanks. Okay, so let's put one of these on here. 170 grams for each of the Racework pedals. And then the Shimano one, 188 grams. So for having an all metal casing, that doesn't weigh much more than this one, which I thought was going to be quite a bit less than that. So there you go. That's my first thoughts on all of these. So far, the shoes feel relatively comfortable. We're just going to have to see the longevity. The grips, I'm not super impressed with these, and I'm going to have a really hard time actually putting them on a bike and wanting to try them just because of the material and how thin they'll be. I know my hands are going to be killing me after a ride with something this thin. So I may try to order a different brand. And then also these Racework pedals. These are what I'm really curious about, seeing how well these hold up, because I'm always needing to buy pedals for any of the bikes that I'm reviewing. So I'm hoping that these do really well. Now there are a few other brands on AliExpress that are significantly cheaper than these. And if you guys want me to buy the absolute cheapest product version of any of these three products, let me know in the comments below, because I was nervous enough going with a $21 or $22 set of pedals and a $27 set of shoes. Going cheaper, could it be the same or could it be really bad? All right, guys, if you like this video and you want to see more of these type of comparisons so you know what to pick out from AliExpress and what not to pick out, leave it in the comments below. Hit the subscribe button, leave me a like, and of course, get out there and ride your bike.